Today, I'm here in the beautiful Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, and I'm at the fabulous Hyatt Hotel. And I'm here today for the Caribbean Shipping Association conference, their annual general meeting, which is their 53rd staging, and it is expected to be an excellent week on Maritime. Now, here in Trinidad and Tobago, their economy is one that is booming. Trinidad is located at the extreme south of the Caribbean, and their economy, unlike Jamaica and other islands, their economy is more in commerce. They deal with trade, and of course, most of their money is made through oil. So Trinidad is a very wealthy country that has done very well from commerce. And there is no better place, in my opinion, to stage this than right here in a country that rests on commerce. And in the Caribbean, a shining example of how Caribbean countries can do well if we are committed. So join me as we now go to the Caribbean Shipping Association conference that is now held in full swing, and we're going to understand what exactly is the work of the Caribbean Shipping Association, CSA, and what exactly are they going to be discussing, and we will meet some of the persons who will have booths there and presenters. So join me as we now go over and understand some more. We are with Mr. Hayden Alleyne. Mr. Hayden Alleyne is the immediate past president of the Trinidad and Tobago Shipping Association, and also he is the project leader of the Caribbean Shipping Conference. Mr. Alleyne, tell us now about this conference. It's the 53rd staging of it. Give us a little understanding of the magnitude of this conference, please.
This year in particular, it was a record year. You know, we never crossed 400 in terms of attendees, and we got up to 457 this year.
Yes.
So it's a conference that started in humble times. I had a little history lesson a couple nights ago, because when we have these conferences, you get to speak to some of the people who know the history, some of the older heads. And they said they started the conference with under 100 people.
Yes.
Some said 134, just about 100, and it has grown consistently to what it is now. So, in terms of magnitude, too, it's fully international. The Caribbean is a state of islands. We need trade to survive, so shipping is part of, deeply rooted in our DNA, not to mention our history, slavery, indentureship.
Yes.
Ships always in it.
Always, yes.
And, but it's an international influence because a number of international stakeholders, shipping lines and so on, they have vessels that traverse here, so we get attendees from Europe. You know, so it's a global conference.
So you said about the history.
Yeah.
So this has been happening for the past 53 years?
Yeah.
So that's carried us back to what, about 1971?
Yeah, -2. No, 1971. Actively, we have been doing it, but we missed 2 years for COVID.
Okay.
Yeah.
So from 1971, you've seen an exponential growth over the years.
Yeah.
And so where primarily do the persons who attend this conference come from?
Mostly the region, and I will include Florida in that. So you do have Florida, Houston, the whole of the Caribbean, the north of South America, so Colombia, Central America, Panama. So full coverage there. I would say that's probably about 80%, and then the 20% will be Europe and elsewhere. We have people we have someone I see registered from Australia and so yeah.
Tell me, why would somebody in Florida though? Why is Florida considered a part of our
that's the biggest
Caribbean basin?
Our major exports, most of our exports is from Trinidad as well as the Caribbean, is to Florida.
Exactly.
Plus we import most of our produce type stuff from Florida, most of the bigger states. So if you go to a supermarket, there's apples more than our local food. So you imported it, right?
So in essence, so Florida is a major stakeholder in the Caribbean region, which is why we would see that they'd have such a presence at an event like this, and even will be hosted hosting our conference maybe in
Yeah.
the future.
They are
So,
actually. So next year,
exactly.
CSA is mid-year because we have two conferences for the year. A mid-year that is smaller, more executive meeting. So there's no annual general meeting stuff, no elections or anything like that. The sessions are more workshopy as opposed to just a plenary session.
Yes.
And then the major annual. So it's 2 years. So next year, mid-year, which is in May, is going to be in Miami.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's really good.
Yeah.
I see it's a 2-day conference. It's my first conference,
Yeah.
and it's been a very exciting 2 days. But what was the rationale behind you doing it for 2 days?
Well, the rationale is that is the Caribbean Shipping Association. I mean, I don't know, I would have imagined funding it as an issue because
Yes.
it is, it's sponsorship. But they came to us, it's 2 days, we wanted to host, so we just had to be innovative to get it to fit and deliver the value that everyone expects and more during the 2 days. So that's what we did.
You mentioned the word innovative.
Yeah.
So what innovative measures did you take to make this conference probably?
Okay. So what we did, the first thing is a portal, a physical portal was a standard feature in the conference, in the
Yes.
3-day conference. In a 2-day conference, to mobilize people, transport, drop off at the port, do the tour, then you host them for a little.
Yes.
It takes a long time,
And how many,
4 or
how many
5 hours.
persons do we have at the conference this stage?
Today, at this stage, 467, that's how many registered.
So 467. So to move all 467 persons from the hotel to the actual port
Yes.
would be a logistical, I don't want to use the word nightmare, but it would be a major logistical undertaking.
Yes.
So how did you now combat this?
So with that was our first innovation. We decided we will do a virtual reality port tour.
Okay.
We got both ports, the 2 major ports, the Port of Spain and Plipdeco to buy in. So they gave us all the permissions to capture all the footage and things like that. And we put together a virtual reality port tour. And Dingole Productions facilitated. They work with us, and I know they are at the forefront of technology as well. So it was a good partnering as well.
Yes. And for those of you who are wondering what's going on behind me, this is a snapshot of the virtual reality port tour when you put on your 3D glasses and you get to actually be like you're almost in the port.
Yes, please.
And Miss Chantel Compton is going to tell us a little about this whole virtual reality thing now. So we know that one of the innovative things that have come out of this conference is that we're now seeing a virtual reality tour. Normally you get to go on a physical tour, but because of time constraints, virtual reality has been adopted. So Miss Compton, explain now, you're a volunteer.
Yes,
so this virtual reality, just explain what really is it and how does it work?
Okay, so first of all, my name is Chantal Compton. I'm a final year student at the University of Trinidad and Tobago, pursuing studies, BSc studies in nautical science and maritime operations at the Chaguaramas campus. So myself, along with a couple other of my classmates.
Yes, so here are some of our classmates who are assisting as well.
I've decided to volunteer at this very prestigious event. And I must mention too that we are the first batch of UTT students to ever attend this function. So we're very elated about that.
So these UTT students are volunteering and they're helping with virtual reality. We see a virtual reality tour is actually in full swing right now. So she's seeing the port and she's seeing everything going on. And there's another student also assisting her.
That's right.
Yes.
And as a matter of fact, what she's seeing right now is like a virtual reality of the 3 major ports here in Trinidad and Tobago. That's the port of Spain, that's Point Lisas, and the port in Scarborough and Tobago. She's getting first-hand view, virtual reality of these ports. And so far, the experience, based on the feedback from others who would have done it, it has been great.
So, students, can you introduce yourselves to my...
Good afternoon, my name is Mark Hutchins.
My name is Robin Maharaj.
Good afternoon, my name is Desmond Andrews. So I'm a 4th year student at the University of Trinidad and Tobago, the Chaguaramas campus. studying nautical science and maritime operations, and this is my first conference, and I must say it has been a great experience for me. I volunteered at the virtual port tour. I took the tour myself, and seeing it from a 3D view, a 360 view, it was very interesting. And the conference itself, it allowed me to see and meet a lot of key players in the Caribbean industry as well as from foreigners, and it helped me network as well.
Yeah, I couldn't second Mark's opinion on saying that this experience and being able to volunteer in the CSA made a great impact on the networking skills that I have attained through volunteering. And seeing how far the technology has come with regards to the virtual port tour, rather than leaving the Hyatt and to go straight down to Scarborough, then back to Port of Spain, then down to Point Lisas, it is very more sustainable, because that's mostly what our course is about, promoting sustainable practices in shipping. It's very nice to see the technology being put into play.
Yeah, I'm also a fourth year student at the University of Trinidad and Tobago Maritime campus. I'm also from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. In the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Coast Guard as well. And I must say that attending a conference like this, it actually get me to do a lot of networking, meet different persons within the maritime sector, and I must say it's a great experience for me as well.
Okay, so there we heard it, that these students are speaking to their volunteering and everything aspect. So what I want to also ask them is, in terms of being here now, have you picked up on anything? Has it been worth it? Would you tell your other colleagues who probably shied away from volunteering that it's something that they should do, or were they right in shying away?
Well, I must say, first of all, they should have been here at this event, because I must say that it would basically allow them to do a lot of networking and also get the experience of meeting different persons, knowing more things about the maritime sector as well.
I would also second that to all my colleagues out there. Angeli, shout you out. Make sure and come next time. Well, there might not be a next time because it's our final year, but we'll be attending the next time.
Yeah, I would encourage all my colleagues to participate because it's a learning experience. This being the first time, but for us, it was fun and we got to do a lot of networking, and the encouragement is that we got from some of the participants is welcoming.
And I must say that this experience is a golden experience for us as UTT students.
Okay, so there you heard it. So these students who are in the maritime, they're now on the threshold of entering the maritime industry, and I can tell you guys, you have made an excellent decision to come into the maritime industry. And I can tell anyone who wants to get into the maritime industry, it is an industry that you want to be a part of. It's a vibrant industry, it's a growing industry. It's something where there is something in this industry for you. There's a place for you in this industry. And I'm very glad that these young men took the time out to decide that they too wanted to be a part of the industry. And they wanted to also learn the industry from before graduation, because they even said it. They graduate you graduate the end of this year, right? Would it be November next year? So they graduated next year. They're in final year now. So we wish them all the best, and we look forward to hearing great things from these young men as they now enter, or they're on the threshold of entering this very lucrative career, which I know will serve them very well. Thank you. On behalf of us who are here as participants, I'd just like to tell you thank you. I don't know how many persons have been able to tell you thank you, but it has been great having you guys here. It's great knowing that we can come and call on you you will need something, you can call on these persons while here at this conference. So thank you very much, and it was worth your time coming, and we wish you all the best in your future endeavors. So that was a very innovative. Any other innovative measures you brought in apart from virtual reality?
Yes, we also have the Shipping Association of Trinidad and Tobago Pavilion, membership pavilion. So in terms of getting support for the conference, and you know, they have packages and so on, and people will come with these, you know, it's a big conference, so sponsorship packages could be pricey. But we have a number of smaller members that want to support, but you know the pocket's not as deep, so they came into we created a little pavilion for them, where we took up booth space and put 3 tables, so they would come in on a daily basis, do their promotion and that kind of thing. We also facilitated other people, just members who, we got a bonus out of it. We had Shane Ram, who wanted a spot to sell his book, so he did it from our membership pavilion, so that's cool. We have the tourism company Trinidad and Tobago also there that came a day to do local souvenirs and
what about personal in terms of, because it's a wide expansive area, so in terms of ensuring the movement of people and that information, not just the information, but people would be moved properly and have assistance.
So one of our things we found that in our industry, you don't get young people necessarily decided, like I did not go to school to learn, you know, anything I know now in shipping. I didn't know this would be my career. I came into it. So we are trying to bridge that gap and give students, or you know, potential young people the exposure. So and we also had a little labor issue, as you manpower issue. So it just seemed like a sensible synergy. We partnered with the University of Trinidad and Tobago through their faculty of Maritime operations to ask students to be volunteers. So we got 11 volunteers from the university. They assisted in the virtual reality booth. They were in the SATT pavilion. They helped in the whole running mics. So just getting involved. And they would also, I imagine, get to have conversations with people while they're interviewing them and so on, and learn more about what that person's doing, and you know, just exposure to the industry, which is what they need.
Of course. Okay, well, thank you very much for that. So we see how you pivot as a new word has been since the pandemic and post-pandemic. So pivoting, and that is exactly what was done. So everyone, once again, we see it again, that the maritime industry. Conference now, we're drawing to the end. Today is the last day of our conference. It's been 2 days of a very active, vibrant talking. So just for those who didn't have the privilege of being here, what were some of the areas that you explored, and why did you give us these topics?
Okay, so this year we had some very specific things going on in the world that we needed to bring to the forefront in the industry. I mean, a big one is the drought conditions in Panama, and that is how that is causing a bottleneck at the Panama Canal and the downward implications for that. So that was one of the major things.
And for our viewers, the Panama Canal is critically low. And because of that, it's causing the ships, many ships, some ships are actually, because of the weight and how much they're carrying, their laden weight, they can't even go through the canal anymore, and they have to go the long way around, which is now passed on to the consumer, because as you can imagine, that's more fuel, that's more money. So all of those major problems, we had COVID, and as soon as COVID, we're now with water problems. Those of us who live in Jamaica know about the water restrictions that we've been having, which are slowly easing with the rains, but nonetheless, the world is facing a serious issue.
So so even in your little spiel there, you brought up other critical issues that were addressed in the conference. So you spoke about the stresses you have with water and so on, and things like that. So the environment was a big factor. We also had a session on leadership, or what we call
Yes.
anti-fragility leadership.
Yes.
How do you get better when hard things happen? Because you're looking at the environmental issues, what's going on in the industry. We'll take in consideration COVID. All these things have been
Yes.
personally stressful, and some people, if you're aware, you would know it.
Yes.
Most
COVID
of us,
fatigue.
yeah, most people just live in an unaware state, so they probably haven't figured, but it is stressing.
Yes.
So how do you get your teams to work around that, and how do you lead people, out of that to get the benefit for your organization and so on? So we did that through leadership, and another major item that came up was AI.
Yes.
Yes,
Artificial
so the
intelligence.
Yeah, we had a session on the use of AI in shipping, and also data integration, having port community systems, all driven by technology and AI.
Okay.
So I think if I had to pull some pillars, that would be it there.
Yes.
The environment, leadership, AI, and what's the fourth?
And just environmental.
Yeah, it's an environment.
So
Anyway,
yes,
three
but-
pillars.
Yes, but all major things that we covered
Yeah.
in this. And so for those of you who are watching, just I tell you, thank you very much for
Yeah.
sitting down with me for this interview. And to our viewers, those of you who are not able to make it to CSA, I hope you got a really good insight and understand some of the workings of the CSA.
Good job, man.